as a reader when we're reading, all right? So let's take a look at the title. Let's read it together. Ooey gooey fun. We always want to think about the title, don't we, when we read? What are you thinking about when you read that title?
I think about slime.
Okay.
Or marshmallows.
Why did you say marshmallows?
Because I can see like the camping and everything. And there's
It says marshmallows on the back.
Ah, so you were looking at the words already, weren't you? And the picture kind of shows them camping, and you can think of gooey gooey, something gooey gooey camping would be marshmallows, right?
Slime.
All right, so let's get started. Let's read together here. We're gonna read that first paragraph together, and then we're gonna stop after that to do some thinking. Okay? Ashlyn stood near the campfire while the counselor added logs. They had to stand at a safe distance from the warmth filled Ashlyn with happiness. Let's do that again, because that was a little confusing. Let's start out with, put your finger on they. Okay, and let's start again. They had to stand at a safe distance, but the warmth filled Ashlyn with happiness. It reminded her of going camping with her grandpa when she was little. Now she was 10 years old, and grandpa lived far away. So as a reader, I'm going to be looking for some words that help me know like who's telling the story or what perspective it's told through or what person, first, second, or third person. You guys notice any words in the print? Point to them or share them that tells us what person it's written in. What are you thinking in that first paragraph? Yeah, first paragraph. Do you see any words that indicate or help us know what person it's written?
the person.
Do you notice any eyes?
Yes.
The word
The
I?
word
Oh, I thought they meant high.
Yeah, the word I. Do you notice any, like, I went to camping?
No.
So we know it's not
From
first person,
I
right?
think it's a big perspective. From the like I'm a human. Is it from the narrator?
Ah, yeah, so third person, but there's some words that help us know it's third person. If you put your finger on the word they or she, right? They or she,
Oh, she.
that
think
helps
it's
us know
it.
it's third person, okay?
It.
So as readers, we want to stop when we're reading that first part and we want to think who's telling the story. We know it's not first person. And then there's words that help us figure out that. So that's something important to think about. So we know someone's telling the story and it's in third person, okay? All right, let's continue. Put your finger on today, that new paragraph, where it starts the new paragraph, okay? Today she was camping with her scouts group. They would stay 2 nights in a tent, and they would work together to earn badges. Oh, stop for a second. A few of us weren't quite sure of that word. Put your finger on the word
This might be
badges.
Girl Scouts.
So hold on 1 second.
Boy Scouts.
How would you solve that word badges if you weren't sure what it was? Where would you break it?
Bad.
Ooh,
The bad.
so badges.
Jizz.
So you would break it between the D and the G? Did anybody else break it somewhere else?
I did.
Where did you break it?
I raked it with the bad
That was stupid.
badge because I already knew that word and then put that.
So you use that whole word badge and then added the S to it. So you can break words flexibly, right? He did it one way, you did it the other way. All right, so they're earning some badges, and you mentioned they were what? Scouts? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you said scouts.
Yeah. Okay, let's put our finger on Ashlyn. Ashlyn's first job was to help her counselor build the fire. Hand me another log, please, said the counselor. Ashlyn quickly did as she was asked. What will we do tonight? Ashlyn asked. The counselor smiled with a
Mischievous.
Oh,
Mischievous.
some of us
That
are
means
trying-
like kind of like mischievous.
So you know what it means,
It
right?
means like you're about to do something. Like Kevin. Crap.
What word helped us know
What man?
that it's kind of how you smile?
Grin.
Yeah, the word grin, right? Let's put our finger on mischievous. How would you break that one if you weren't sure? Yeah, so friends, put your finger on that first part, miss. Miss. Lots of times when we see miss, we're going to break it after that, right?
Like you missed something.
Well, this is like the mischievous, it's the
When
beginning
I
of the
think of
word.
mischievous, my mind just goes Kevin.
Oh, so you're thinking about somebody, right?
Kevin Home Alone.
Alright, so did everybody kind of think that you wanted to break it at miss
Yes.
and then chieve,
No.
us? How did you break it?
I broke it at Miss.
You put the whole first part together, misch.
Yeah.
You put the ch on that with the S.
Then you
Okay.
can go TV.
Okay. If we didn't know what it meant, we at least know it's a kind of a grin, right? Everybody show a mischievous grin. Ah, there you go. Alright, so we know something about this counselor, don't we? Alright, let's start with Ashlyn, so put your finger on Ashlyn. Ashlyn could hardly wait. Once the fire was roaring, Ashlyn helped set up the tent. Then the group took a hike through the woods nearby. Ashlyn pointed out a berry bush, and she smiled when another scout pointed out a family of deer in a meadow.
Meadow. I know what that is.
Yeah,
It's like
a meadow is kind of like
a tree.
so, like a field of like corn things, like like little like yellow things with like those brown like. Oh,
So you know it's a place,
hot dogs.
right?
Oh,
You guys
cattails.
know a meadow is a place, or which word helped us know it was a place? Put your finger on that word that helped us know that it's a place. Ooh, let's see if we got it right. I noticed everybody's kind of putting their finger on what word? In. In helps us know that it's a place, right? So this fire's roaring, we can picture all this, Ashlyn's there. Now let's go to a sound, let's start there. A sound of rushing water came from ahead. Ashlyn peered down the path for a better look. As they followed the path, a giant waterfall came into view. The water flowed from the top of a cliff. It
Cascaded
into a pool below.
I know what that means.
Hold on 1 second though. How many were quite sure of cascaded?
Downward skated. I got it.
Where would you break that word? Girls, where would you break that word? Put your finger on that first break, everyone. Where would you break cascade? Put your finger, oh, yeah. Mrs. Brown, what do you think?
on it because we're not on the right page. You put it
So,
here, or do you put it
what are
there?
you thinking? Cass, and then Cade, and then Ed? Did anybody do it differently?
I already.
Yeah,
I know
you got that
cascade
right.
means like kind of like going into it.
Yeah.
Like I think of it skating.
Oh, when you cascade down?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking of that.
When you go down the ice or skiing.
Yeah.
That's a very. I mean like kind of like.
How do we know which word is the author using that helps us know it's going kind of down?
Into.
Into, right? Yeah, the
Into
author's
and
using
below.
into. Okay, so they're seeing all this, there's rushing water, Ashlyn was peering down, right? Let's turn the page over. Ashlyn gasped in delight. Soon they returned to their campsite. The counselor told the scouts about their activities for the next day, which would include paddling onto the lake in a canoe. Ashlyn glanced at the smooth water of the lake. She was excited for tomorrow. The counselor called the scouts to sit around the campfire. Now, let's stop there for a second. As a reader, what does our brain have to be thinking when they were talking about tomorrow, and then all of a sudden it said the counselor called the scouts to sit around the campfire. As a reader, what do you have to be thinking and knowing?
Why do you like? I just got a question. Why do you gotta do it? It's fun.
Say that again?
Like I don't know.
What are you wondering?
I'm just wondering about like Cub Scouts. Like.
I'm in Cub Scouts.
I know like.
You're wondering about the story?
Like, why, like yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know what you're saying. Are you confused
Like
about this?
why does your counselor have to tell you?
Oh, so
Like
you're
we're
wondering
on a
about that.
camping trip.
Okay.
No,
Anybody
you
wanna
are not.
answer that?
No, you're.
In
Yeah,
Cub
I
Scouts, you are
understand.
not on a camping trip.
What do you have to share?
You have to, in Scouts, you have to follow the camp directions because they don't want you like getting lost and like doing whatever you want because you might not know how to do it.
Yeah, so you needed some clarification there, which is fine. Sometimes scouts have counselors, some of them don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
my dad is the
Okay.
pack leader.
Okay.
That must be.
But how do we know, like, what do we have to do as a reader? The counselor called the scouts to sit around the campfire. The son, they were just talking about tomorrow and now he called them over. What do we have to do as a reader?
The next
What do we have to do as a reader? Shift what?
shift to like another period of time.
Yeah. The counselor called the scouts to sit around the campfire. Our brain should go, okay, now they're sitting at a campfire. Before they were all in the meadow, right? Looking at these deer, now they're at the campfire. That's really important, isn't it? All right. We're gonna have you guys go and partner up and finish the story. But one of the things to think about as readers is go back to that front page. Got a couple things. When we read that first paragraph, we were really thinking about first person, second person, third person, right? There are special words or certain words that the author uses. When we got to mischievous, cascade, and even the word badges, we had to break it, didn't we? And everybody could break flexibly. They could break it the way they wanted to, but that's a way to solve it, right? But then we also had to think about the meaning of it, what it meant, okay? Go ahead and finish this story about Ashlyn and see what ends up happening and why it's called Gooey Fun. Go ahead.